What's up guys, we are back with another Dragon Ball Z SH Figuarts review, and this time around it's a premium Bandai release. So we're taking a look at the second member of the Ginyu Force that we're getting, and one of my favorites. So he's part of a duo that I really like when it comes to the Ginyu Force. So we're taking a look at JIECE today, and this guy comes in a standard style Figuarts box. You've got him there in the big window, you've got a big product shot of him on the front that wraps around to the side, showcasing a few other instances of the figure, and then the back of the box, as usual for a Figuarts release, has a bunch of product shots, showcases all the stuff he comes with and how he moves. So let's do it. Let's pull him out and take a look. And here we go, out of the package, our Figuarts JIECE figures. So this is, of course, our second Ginyu Force member, and this is without a doubt one of my most anticipated Figuarts releases, well, as far as Dragon Ball goes. Once I get him and Birder, I'm going to be very, very happy. And there is a lot to like with this figure. There is one big, literally big thing that I don't like about him, and it definitely comes into play with articulation, and you probably already know what it is just at first glance. It's the head and the hair. So let's get started, see what this guy can do, see how he moves around. So you've got a head that he really can't look up too much, like maybe a slight bit. He can look down, and surprisingly he can hold that because the hair on this guy is crazy. He's got tilt side to side, of course, and then you do have full rotation, but the hair is going to get in the way, so he's only going to look so far. The neck is, of course, articulated as well, and that does help with your down and your side to side. The hair is also articulated, so it moves up and down, and it sort of shimmies from side to side just a little bit. It does hold really well, but it is incredibly heavy, so he is not only top heavy, he is back heavy, because this, for some reason, this thing is not hollow. If this had been hollow, it'd be a non-issue, really. I don't think there'd be any problems with this guy. It's the one thing that definitely stops him from being a little bit more dynamic. He is still easily posed, do not get me wrong here, but it definitely is something you're going to have to work around at the very least. The arms have the shoulder pads, which are hinged, and this guy does have, of course, some very signature moves because he's a Ginyu Force member. He does include extra shoulder pads to accommodate, because you've got this sort of gap here, so they do fix the gapping with this figure when it comes to his poses by giving you extra pieces, which we'll talk about. As far as moving him, though, I mean, you can get the arms out pretty much as far as you need to, so he goes all the way around as usual, go up and out, and then you do have your butterfly joint, so it goes out about that far. There is a point here where it's not going to go past on the armor, though. You've got your bicep swivel there. You've got your double jointed elbows, of course. We've got our hinged ball joints at the wrist, so normal Figuarts stuff. You do have a torso cut, so he goes all the way around, side to side. You do have your waist twist as well. So he goes forward about that far, which is pretty good. And he goes backwards a good bit too, but you're going to get a gap, and then of course the hair is going to get in the way. He goes side to side really, really well, though. I do like that. Legs go out only about that far. They are a little bit more limited than I had expected. They do kick forward all the way. They kick backwards all the way too. You've got your thigh cut. We've got double jointed knees, and then you've got your rotation. You've got a little bit of rocker. It's always the problem with like Saiyan boots. You never have enough rocker down there, and then you've got a little bit of hinge in your toe articulation. So he does move really well. Like, I don't have truly any issues with his overall articulation scheme. The one big problem is the hair. It's what it is. I mean, I knew it was going to be a big brick on him, but I was really hoping that it was going to be hollow just because of the weight aspect. You can work around how it gets in your way, but when you have to pose him leaning forward a little bit or just sort of shimmying to one side, it does make you have to think before you get him standing. Otherwise, he's going to just sort of fall forward. All things said and done, though, he does move about as well as you would expect any Dragon Ball Figuarts to move. Aesthetically, he hits all the right notes, though, so there's really not much to worry about there. It is exactly what you want him to be. The shade of sort of, it's not exactly red, it's got a touch of orange to it, and then your Ginyu-styled Saiyan armor. It looks fantastic. I'm really, really happy with the overall aesthetics and presentation on this guy. There's not a whole lot of paint on him. You get the Ginyu logo, of course, emblazoned on the chest. You do get the little splotches of brown on the interior part here of the armor. But the rest of him really is mostly just cast plastic. You know, even the shoulder pads, they're separate pieces that are attached together. So it's not painted there either. But there's no real need. When it's all supposed to be a single solid color, I have no issues with this. He doesn't really have any shading lighting on him, and so far I haven't been too upset about that. It's a dark enough color that he catches the light and sort of shades himself. Not quite as easily as, say, the Piccolo figure that I recently reviewed, but it does hit the mark well enough. The whites are incredibly bright and vibrant. The darks, blacks are very, very saturated and deep. And then, of course, you've got your head sculpt, which looks... I think it looks like he jumped right out of the show. I really don't have any criticisms on this one. The eyes are clean and crisp and straightforward. He's got his little smirk on him right out of the box, and of course he's incredibly arrogant for no real reason, as he soon finds in the show. He does have a scouter. It is removable, so you'll have a hole if you take it out, but of course you can utilize that with other face plates. The hair, despite the fact that I do think it is cumbersome and way too heavy and dense, does look really, really good. So you've got his sort of mega hyper mullet going on here. He is very much business in the front and party in the back, and I think it looks great. There is a little touch of shading to it. It's light, but it's there, and it's sculpted really well. It's very unique for this line too. Most figures have, I guess, smooth but pointy hair. He is very much a textured thing. So you've got this big sort of like almost, tail or mane sticking out of the back of his head. So it's a very unique thing when it comes to this line, but they did a really good job sculpting it, and it looks great. It's just, of course, very, very cumbersome. But otherwise, this is exactly what I wanted him to be. He is another well-done member of the Ginyu Force. Just like Captain Ginyu, they really knocked this one out of the park. Now, as far as accessories goes, JIECE is really well stacked. I don't truly think we're missing really anything. He has a lot of stuff crammed into this box. The first of which is the set of shoulder pads that I mentioned. So you've got these extra pads that you can replace. You've got the irregular ones here, you pop them off, and then you put the new ones on, and it allows him to do this. It's nothing crazy, but it allows him to seamlessly raise his arm all the way in the air, which of course is part of his pose, one of his main poses. And it's just nice to be able to preserve those aesthetics. I'm really happy that they included that. He comes with a nice array of hands that are conveniently packaged in a little tray because of how he's in the box. You've got a set of flat hands, you've got your gripping hands, you've got open finger kind of splayed hands, you've got more flat hands, but the joints are on the bottom, the actual peg holes are on the bottom, so he can have his hands sort of flat out, and then you've got a gripping hand for your scouter case. This is pretty cool. This is something that I don't think they truly needed to include, and it doesn't open, it doesn't really do anything. So this is, of course, the case that he brings when he brings all the scouters onto Namek. It's got a little bit of design and some text there, but otherwise it's just sort of a green box. But I do really like it because it is something that he actually uses in the show. You've got a piece of removable back armor that has a Tamashii stage joint on it, so you can put this on his back and it'll help you to support him from underneath, due to that hair, of course. And then you've got a 2-star Namek Dragon Ball. So you've got this big guy here. Of course, looks really good. Nice, transparent plastic. We've got his effect part, which is a crusher ball, and it has one of the little wrist attachments. So you've got a peg hole with a little stand. So you can arc this around, and it's got the little thing here on the bottom. You clip this around his wrist, and we saw this with Frieza recently, in the most recent Frieza. It's the last one I can think of that we got this with. So I do like this. Of course, it's kind of one of his signature moves, and you've got a way to easily display it. We've got some faces as well. So you've got a scouter face here with him screaming and looking down to the right. You've got a scouter face with him screaming. And then we've got another scouter face here with him screaming in a different, slightly more angry way. So these two are very, very similar, but at the same time, they are very distinct. And then the last thing that he comes with is not for him at all. It is for your Goku, a Saiyan raised on Earth. You've got your extra head sculpt for Goku, where he gets taken over by Captain Ginyu. So you swap this out on that body, and you've got your Goku Ginyu figure. So I don't have a second Goku from that particular release, but I'm going to get one because now I have a reason for 2 Gokus, and I'm really looking forward to being able to use this guy. Sculpt on it's really well done. Of course, it's basically just your standard Goku with a kind of menacing, devious-looking smirk on his face and a scouter attached to the head. So that's a really cool inclusion. They didn't have to have that thing, but I like it. And of course, it aids in them selling more Gokus. But he is incredibly well stacked. Again, I really don't think we're missing anything when it comes to what's included in this box. So yeah, this is a really solid release in many, many ways. For me, he truly only has one problem, and it's the hair. And it's not even the biggest of deals, it's just something to be mindful of. He is top heavy, he is back heavy. Thankfully, it is capable of being posed and moved around enough that you probably won't have too many issues with it. It's just, it is what it is. It's a heavy piece of plastic that probably could have been hollow, and it would have been a much better figure for it. Otherwise, though, he still does move really well. He looks incredibly anime accurate, and he comes with a huge array of accessories. I mean, they really cram this box full. Tons of faces, tons of hands, and a bunch of other extraneous stuff that some go with him and some don't go with him. So I'm really, really happy with the selection and all the inclusions that they put in this guy's box. It's a really solid entry in the Ginyu Force, and I am very much looking forward to getting the rest of these guys. So that's going to do it for this look at the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Z JIECE figure. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.